Gav does it as well. When we're doing prepare to try, he'll start talking like this.
Yes.
It's like, you can't be heard on.
It should be about 6 inches away is the
this.
optimal range.
Hello and welcome to episode 1569 of the IGN UK podcast. I don't know what episode we're on. There's loads of them.
344.
That's less than I
We
thought.
used to.
We need to step it up.
There was a while when we would announce like what episode it was at the start of the episode. So that was like kind of a little cool thing. People would queue up to date. They'd be like, "Hey, welcome to something something."
That was a
we
little
just did
cool
it.
thing.
So,
I mean, that is
Yeah,
just what we
just
did.
did.
Oh, right. So, I'm really hungover today, so this is gonna be.
Should we talk about that, Rory?
fun.
I'm just going to move this water because I'm really scared.
Oh, no.
It's
It's
tipping.
But that's my hydration.
You can still reach it. You can still have the
but
drink.
You have to drink it from floor level.
You severely overestimate my flexibility.
I'm Joe Scrabbles. To my left, Rory Powers. To my right, Alicia Judge.
Hello.
And to my east, Dale Driver.
Nice, the east.
Yeah, I
Nice.
don't know. I just want to say something other than right.
Fair enough.
Guys, Rogue One trailer number 2 dropped last night at the Olympics. Gold medal trailer, they
Did you
called
drop
it.
the O off the limp?
The Olympics.
Just all these people wandering around with really limp wrists getting gold medals.
The Olympics. That's what they're calling it on the streets. What does everyone think about this movie now? Does it look good to you?
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah?
How about everybody else?
We were just talking about your friend's 5-word reviews on Vine. I'm excited to
I think
see
it's-
it. That's 5 words. You could do it.
So I watched it this morning, and I wasn't sure what I made of it. But the more I've watched it, because I had to watch it obviously for this to get some notes, and it gets better every viewing. I think, honestly, do believe
Is
that.
it a dense frame? Is there a lot going on to it?
No, I just think it's. Do you notice I love visually? It's very brown and grey, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
That is their
that's not necessarily Star Wars, but it is.
Poop.
But
That's what it is.
wow.
What? Do you have grey in your poop?
Oh yeah. Big time.
God.
But it
What is
feels
your
very.
diet?
It feels very familiar, but also very new as well, and that's the most exciting thing for me. It
Yeah.
feels like a different take on Star Wars. It's not just your classic adventure;
Yeah.
it's a different story.
Yeah.
And for me, that's really exciting.
You can see that in the opening kind of shots. There's just a really slow piano theme of the traditional
the
Star
Imperial
Wars.
March at first,
Exactly.
isn't
It sounds more like the funeral march as you're like, and it's such a like immediately it's set of like this is what you know, but not what you know, and we're gonna flip it round.
All right. Asshole Rory's coming out. Let's do this. I don't care for it. I don't care for it.
Did you care for it before and now you don't?
No.
Or do you just not care at
I
all?
don't care for it.
Why don't you care for it?
I don't like if you take out the TIE fighters and the lightsabers and stormtroopers, you're left with a sci-fi film that does not interest me in the slightest.
Why doesn't it interest you?
It's just I'm not getting anything from it. It's just nothing. There's nothing in the trailer that I was like dying to see. Like really exciting. It felt like they gave it that kind of Game of Thrones treatment where they show a trailer and then like but right at the end, here's like a gun to the dragons. Here's like Vader. Like oh, so he's in it. And it's like
What about that shot when Jim was walking down something and then that TIE fighter rises up from
Yeah.
that was an amazing shot, and
That's a
I
cool
cannot
shot.
wait to see that scene.
Yeah.
if that was any ship other than the TIE fighter though, would you be as equally interested?
It was a pretty impressive shot, even if it was. But obviously, the TIE fighter makes it more
Yeah.
interesting for me.
I don't know. I know I'm
Imagine
being
if it was like a
cynical
Ford Escort. It just comes up.
exactly.
I'd want to see that
Angry
scene
old-
as well,
Yeah,
to be
that'd be
honest.
great.
I think it's what you want from your sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
So watching that, it's not like remember like the Star Trek trailer, the most recent one when it came out. You had like the crazy star fights, and you had like the rock music and stuff coming through, and like there's a lot of real sense of action, and there is action in this trailer, but it's like 3-second snippets of action before to like set to kind of almost like quite sad music
Yeah.
to kind of like they're pitching it at a very different tone. So I can understand how if you're going in from like wanting a traditional sci-fi movie, this probably isn't how they're pitching it at the moment.
Yeah. Well, it definitely has a different feel and different tone to it than like the trailers for The Force Awakens, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They were very bold and very striking. And this is a much more discreet approach and you know,
Yeah.
focusing on little things. As you said, like little piano intro and things.
Yeah.
Although thinking back, the trailer for 7 did that as well. Did like the theme on
The
it.
music
true.
is so good in this trailer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the things they've done with it is incredible. And also, you saying about the 3-second action shots. Did you get a glimpse of that one bit when it looks like they're flying off a planet that's like exploding
Yeah.
or something?
I missed that.
See,
Did
I
you not see it?
genuinely, I think there's going to be way more like they're setting it at a really kind of melancholy tone because we know that this is going to be quite a melancholy story. Like, there's been a couple of spoilers dropped that we saw, but like, even
Whoa.
even-
I'm spoiler free.
No, we're not getting into the spoilers. But anyone,
I've
can-
just
said that Vader appeared in it. Like,
I'm just watching
twice,
that.
so-
I'm just watching that trailer, going, I know what happens to you. I know what happens. I know what's going on.
because we were at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Does that sour your enjoyment of the trailer? do you
No,
think?
it's fine. I'm actually sorry. You were making a point. I just interrupted.
No, it's cool. Well,
It's gone now.
It's gone.
Ruined
It's
it.
disappeared into the
If
galaxy.
you guys could choose, would you be Jedi or Sith?
It's like a 5-year-old's question to this.
Jedi.
This is my contributions to the podcast this week. I was like so thrown at, like, I'm trying to do this prepare to try stuff today, so like I haven't even seen the running order. I'm blind flying today. This is blind Rory. What would you be, Jedi or Sith?
Back on
Jedi,
track.
obviously.
Jedi, yeah.
It's like, would you be
I mean,
good,
yeah, wouldn't we all? Wouldn't
good
we all?
guy or bad guy?
Like scribbling over the picture of me.
If you
Just
choose
levitates
Sith,
toys behind all of our heads, ready to spike
If
into
you
our
do
brains.
Sith, you clearly have really bad breath. Like, you don't look
What?
at Darth
What?
Maul. No, you really don't. You don't. You look at Darth Maul and you go, that man needs a Tic Tac.
What a weird thing to say. What's that
I don't think
about?
that was my original thought. His breath must
Something you
smell.
really need to take into consideration.
You reckon Qui-Gon Jinn's minty fresh?
That man. Have you seen his dentistry?
That guy- that guy's
This is the
already-
voice of Aslan. He knows his mouth is great.
Luke's chewing like bubble mint. He's got like a bit of flavor.
Hubba
to it.
bubba.
Hubba bubba, yeah.
Anakin's got like toxic waste. He's like, I'm pushing it to the edge.
Is that a meme? If we CGI them blowing bubbles in scenes of Star Wars?
there's no context there. There's no context.
Okay, no bad ideas.
Yeah,
no
no
bad
bad
ideas. Don't take it if you don't have one. Just
But-
keep going.
One of the things that like I was super excited about watching this trailer was we got a glimpse at some of like the new droids and stuff. And so what's really cool about this trailer, I think why we're seeing like the browns and the greys and stuff, it's also, you know, when you think of history, you think of the old sepia photos, and I think they're kind of riffing off that with the color palette, that this is, you know, I can't remember, is it 100 years before? No, it's not 100 years before.
So
It's-
33, 34, something
Yeah,
like that.
it's like in the past, it's history. The technology is slightly older, so we've seen like our first look at some of the droids, like K2SO, which is this kind of completely grumpy old droid that's been reappropriated and kind of is slightly murderous.
Well, he's
but
like
under control.
He's hashtag no filter. He
Yeah.
can't. He has to say what he thinks.
Yeah, because he used to belong to the.
He's like-
I would follow his
Kim
instinct.
and Aggie of the telly. He has to say what he thinks.
It's amazing. He's like, yeah, because he used to belong to the Imperial Force, and there's this amazing line in the trailer where he says to Jin, like, "I will not kill you," and then like wanders
It's
off.
funny, isn't it, when you get like little glances at a character like that, and you're just like, I'm gonna love that character.
Yeah,
It's like when
completely.
people first saw BB-8 and they were just like,
Yeah.
think of the toys, like we're all gonna be in love with this little.
It's always the droids, isn't it? R2D2 was the same. We just
Yeah.
fall in love with them.
Did you see the clip of him they showed at Star Wars Celebration?
No.
Where it's like Jin hands him her stuff because he's a droid, and he just looks, he just drops it on the floor and walks off. It's really good.
He goes, no filter.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hashtag no filter.
Do you think he's toy friendly?
No, he's probably.
He'll make a good action figure.
Yeah.
He's
He's
big, bulky.
He's very grey and tall, isn't he?
He-Man type toy. He'll
Yeah.
have guns.
People will fall in love with his personality.
The thing that's making me
Pull-string toy, then.
on this,
Pull-string toy.
I think this trailer is quite cool. I'm generally interested in this movie, but there's like the thing that's missing for me at the moment, and maybe this is purposeful, is the whole core of the movie is there is a huge group of people working together, and all of those films have moments where everyone meets and there are tensions and they resolve them, and that's really satisfying.
Yeah.
And I've seen nothing of that yet.
Right.
Like, there's
Yeah.
no element to me that screams like we're going to get to know a group, like an ensemble
Yeah.
that's going to come together and fight the power, which I want.
If you're looking at it charitably, you could suggest that they're trying to keep as much of the film under wraps as possible.
But then that's the bit that doesn't matter plot-wise. Like, why not show more of that? I want to see where, like, because we see a little bit of Donnie Yen and Jiang Wen's characters kind of maybe in the transition period to
Yeah.
joining. But like Riz Ahmed's Bodhi Rook, he's just there for one shot.
Yeah, just peeps around, doesn't he?
There's 2 aliens on the team we know are going to be in it.
Right.
One of them's Warwick Davis. They're Chirrut and someone else. Baelish. I don't know what he's called. And they've appeared once in all the trailers. And
Is that
it's
a
like,
bad thing, though?
but I want to know who they
But
are.
do you need to be sold on the film? A trailer is there to
I
sell
want
you
to
on
be
the
sold
film.
on the ensemble. If I'm going to watch an ensemble piece, I
Right.
want to know that those people.
So you want a mini getting the gang together montage?
I do. I want like a tiny. What I want is just remake the Suicide Squad trailers with them because they actually looked good at the time.
I do know what you mean. It's like there's a lot of showing you more of this world, showing more of the backstory and kind of what's going to happen in the film, but there's not actually like a lot of moments spent explaining the characters and really who they are and the reasoning behind it, because it's kind of tough with a movie like this. You know what the ending is going to be because it sets up
that's true.
the prequels. Like, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We know
to a certain degree.
we know the grander narrative, but we don't know the character narratives. Like we don't know
If anything,
where their
exactly.
conclusions.
But if
And
anything,
that's it.
that's
It's
the
like, so
problem.
that's a good thing, yeah.
I should feel worried about those characters now.
Yeah.
But I don't, because I don't know who any of them are, and I have no
This is
attachment.
tough though, because at the end of the day, it's a trailer. It's
of
a trailer
course,
for a
but-
movie, so it's like you can't expect a certain level.
But it's a selling tool, and I'm not being sold.
how did this flip? You're being worried now.
I'm on your team.
But you're still going to see it though, Joe.
Of course I am, because it's Star Wars.
A lot of money we're all going to see it.
And
We're probably all going to love it.
I
as
am
well.
super excited by the concept. It's just
Yeah.
my idea of what that concept is not being given to me, and I'm very angry.
Only 1 minute 30 for a trailer.
Yeah,
Cool.
So that's that. Right, No Man's Sky.
No Man's
I've heard of
Sky.
this game.
Yes. How much time have you put in now?
About 9 hours.
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
I've
It's the
invested.
classic Dale Drive.
Oh yeah, straight on.
Straight through it.
Yeah.
Have you played yet?
I haven't, no.
You haven't played yet either.
I've not had time. I've literally every night this week. I've been getting back home about midnight.
I'm just so popular.
Yeah.
I've got so many
My
social
social life
events.
is
Priorities are
interfering.
all over the place there.
Do you know what's really procedural generation? Friendship.
My diary.
I was really hoping that we'd get to go around and name the weirdest stuff we'd found, but you guys haven't played it.
I've named
sorry.
some stuff.
Have you found? What's the weirdest thing you found?
Blimey.
Creature, world. What's your favourite thing?
Oh, I found a world that was essentially like 95% like ocean, it seemed like, and all the landmarks were underwater.
What?
And that was a pain in the ass. Like,
That sounds brilliant. I've not even been underwater yet.
really? Oh, there's
Yeah.
one last night I did where the landmark came up underwater, but it was relatively shallow, so I could just swim underneath and go
Yeah.
in there, and there was a beacon inside it. But I found one where all the icons are popping up and they're all underwater so deep that I've got no chance of getting down there and surviving. So I guess I have to upgrade my oxygen or
That's
something.
cool.
That was a bit of a strange thing. I found a lot of weird creatures, but none of them that I can describe in great detail because they're all a bit bizarre.
All right, let me lay this one on the table. I got stranded on a planet, right? So I found, I landed and I found a transmission that led to a distress signal
Yeah.
from a crash ship.
Yeah.
And you can take that crash ship
Yeah.
if you want for free. And like new ships are hard to come by unless
got
you've got
big
tons
annoyance
of
for
money.
this, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. But to swap out, you can't take you can take your materials and stuff from your old ship, but you can't take the pieces, like the major bits of technology out of it. So to take this ship, which I really wanted, I had to stay on this planet and rebuild it. Like I had to build the engine again. I had to get all the stuff all the plutonium and stuff I needed to launch it, and all of this stuff to get out of the atmosphere. So I was stuck on this planet for like an hour, and I was actually really excited. I was like, "This is cool. Like I'm stranded on a planet and I have to make do."
Yeah.
What is on this planet are herds of like 20-foot long flying centipedes.
Jesus.
Right? Like dozens of them. And I do not like centipedes. It was fucking horrible. Like the landscape is just dotted with these creepy fucking
that's crazy.
multi-legged eels flying over me. I'd constantly go picking something up, and the sun would be blotted out as one of them flies over my head and casts this
Amazing.
gross shadow over me. Like I put if you look on my Twitter feed, I've got a short video of what they look like in the
Oh,
air.
wow.
Did they come in peace? Or were
They were fine. Yeah, they wouldn't attack me.
Oh, that's nice.
What was the
Thank
conditions of
God.
the planet?
It was just like it was sort of arid. Like
But
a
I mean, like the
deserty
weather
planet.
conditions.
It was basically like hot and sunny.
I was in one last night where it's non-stop storms.
Yeah.
And when you're out in the storm, you're getting your life support is getting damaged.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get to places, like I didn't want to have to fly around everywhere because you burn up a lot of fuel when you
Yeah.
do that. And then I was constantly getting caught in storms, so I had to go and find shelter in places. That was kind of bizarre. But
There is something quite nice. Like I know there's a lot of problems people have with the game at the moment. We're not even talking about the game really, but like a lot of people have problems with the fact that the game doesn't offer you a huge amount to do. Like straight up go here, here's a thing, like here's some stuff you can do with it. But the best moments I've had with it are those moments where I'm just walking around a planet and getting caught in situations and having to deal with them, and that like organic thinking around that. Like there was one bit where I was caught in storms and I just got a grenade launcher. I was like, I'm just going to die in this storm, and then realised that what I could do is like smash grenades into the floor and create a tunnel and just hide in it until the storm was over. And I was like,
amazing.
this is brilliant.
That's
What a
really
cool
cool.
thing.
tunnel networks are always amazing as well. You know, you'll see them. I've seen a few where they've got so many like glowing items down there and stuff. And you can go down, it's like a whole nother world down there as well. What? Just going back to the bit with the ship, I found a couple now of derelict ships that I can build up. I got such a massive problem with that because I really wanted those ships. I got so much more slots, but I didn't have anywhere near the materials to fix them up.
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll fly to the space station. I can buy some more materials, trade some stuff, and maybe I'll come back. Fly up there, come back. I had no chance of finding that thing ever
it's
again.
just stuck. You can't leave a waypoint.
You can't leave
can't leave any
waypoints or
marks or-
markers or anything like that. It sets markers for you if you're aiming for something, and you can scan in space for undiscovered stuff.
Yeah.
But if you've already visited there, you'd have to land. And these planets are like, they are full-size planets.
Yeah,
So
like they
you
would
have to
actually
land
take
at the
you
right
years
part
to
of the
walk across.
atmosphere.
God.
The amazingly, like one of the original patch notes in the day one thing was that I think they slowed down planet rotation because
Right.
it was becoming so confusing to players that these planets were moving at a
Jesus, yeah.
realistic rate. Because you could fly off,
Yeah.
try and get somewhere, and you were just going with the rotation of the Earth. Just being like, what is this? How am I meant to move?
Because it has that great thing when you see a target in the distance and it will say time to approach, depending on what speed you're going. And do you do what I do is go into the atmosphere, then hit my pulse drive, fly over the curvature of the planet, and then come down just to cut your time. And
Exactly, yeah. You're like, what, 56 seconds? No. Engage pulse drive. Yeah, it's good fun.
Are you naming everything?
I'm naming all my planets.
Right.
And all my systems.
So you get more credits. Is it credits? The
I
currency?
think, do you get more?
I read somewhere when I first did it, it said you get 1,000 for submitting a name and 7,000 if you rename.
Oh,
or
okay.
something
I
like
didn't realise that.
So I was
You
like,
can rename people's planets?
You
No,
can rename
only
planets.
discoveries.
Yeah.
Right,
So if
okay.
you find a planet, you can rename
Yeah.
it.
but
so I've
most
got
planets you find you would discover.
so I've got a system called Some Rappers. There's
Right.
Chance the Rapper. There's Old Dirty B Word. And then I've got there was a planet and its moon, which I called Fat Man Scoop and Crookling Clan.
Nice.
Which I really like.
So I started off down that path, naming all sorts of crazy things.
You do just get bored of naming
named one after
things.
my girlfriends and things like that. Just,
I genuinely think is the most romantic gaming thing I've ever
I was just
heard.
trying to get her into the game.
It was a planet made of poison.
It actually was a barren land. Like her heart.
Oh my god.
-degrees for the Ice Queen.
After a while, I got bored of typing all these things in, but I still want the credits. So what I decided to do was hit one letter on the type
Island.
and let PlayStation like autofill the words.
That's
for
actually
me.
quite
that's
cool.
a cool
So I've got a bunch.
idea.
I thought this is some of these are quite silly, so I thought I'd write a bunch down. I'll read
Let's
them out
do
for
it.
her. It's a bit hit and miss. So let's see what we got.
No bad ideas, as I established earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
So free
We've
bullet.
got Git from experience.
Get from
got-
experience.
Yeah. Some of these give you a clue of what sort of things I write
I was
on
about to
PSN
say,
as
this
well.
is an insight into your mind.
Hello, everyone from hell. We've got Ledonk and Score from Ease. Now that's because I've obviously wrote Ledonk and Scorsese at some point in PSN.
What? Who
you know
are
that?
you writing to?
Why were you
What,
I don't
what is-
remember.
This
I
is
don't
bizarre.
remember.
What did you
I've got
say?
Boom with credit. Yeah, it's not that good, that one.
Boom with
I got
credit.
my first ever planet. It was a rubbish planet, so I called it Trash System.
I really
course.
like that
Yeah.
name. That sounds like a great.
That's something you would say about someone.
Yeah,
You're
they're
a goddamn trash system.
I call people garbage men and garbage trash a
Yeah.
lot.
I got PoisonGit.
So many kids.
I got X-Ray to Taste.
It's quite good.
Okay.
I got Video with Credit. Xerox at all times.
These all sound like indie movies.
They actually do.
And my last one, probably my favourite one, is Zambia Pending.
I mean, if this all falls through, start a band. You've got your band
Yeah.
name.
Zambia Pending.
Zambia
Zambia Pending.
Hot album coming out next year, Git from Hell.
Glastonbury.
X-rated taste. Oh, that's good. Right, you haven't played. You're not interested.
No. That's. See, when I hear stories like this, that's what really gets me interested in the game. Like hearing about different people's experiences when they've had to go through. Because as a concept, I find it astonishing. It's incredible. As a game, I'm slightly less interested.
Yeah.
I still don't think that in 3 weeks people are going to be playing this.
There's a very good potential of that. I
I think there's going to be a very steep drop-off rate, which that doesn't mean that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like you can have a game that Ratchet and Clank, for example, fantastic game.
Yeah.
We beat it. You beat it like twice.
Yeah, blitzed it. Yeah.
I don't go back to it, but it was a great game. And No Man's Sky, I just think is going to be that thing, which is kind of disappointing because of the scope of it and the scale of it to just drop off so quickly.
Yeah, for the majority, I agree. However, this feels so much like Minecraft to me, obviously without the building aspects of it. And Minecraft was a game that I played for a year straight. It was always my second game. It was my game. Whatever I was playing someone else at the time, then I'd go back for Minecraft for a little bit.
It's so easy to just turn on, find a planet, look around a bit, document some weird animals, and then turn off. I actually quite like that.
There is a drive. Like the main drive for me is building warp cells right now, so I can go to another galaxy.
Well, that's it. Yeah, there's always something to do. But like, so for example, our reviewer Dan Stapleton was talking about his experience with it, and I think he's on like day 4 of playing it now. And he was saying, he'd be on planets collecting minerals to upgrade his ship. Then at one point, you like hit a black hole and leapt 500 light years or something to another galaxy. And when he got to that galaxy, it was more planets to go down and land and farm for minerals. To
it's kind of rinse and repeat to a degree. Like,
absolutely.
I'm quite disappointed with the space stations because there's a space station in every galaxy or system, whatever you want to call it, and they're like identical except for what aliens in them. That's it. Every single time they are bang on identical.
And actually, lots of the buildings that you find on planets look identical as well, and have identical layouts. Like there are
lazy.
There are actual
Lazy
serious
Miyazaki.
problems, I think, with No Man's Sky as it is. I think inventory management is absolutely terrible. Like for a game that constantly wants you to be collecting things, the difficulty there is in managing all of that is just awful.
It's very frustrating as well at times.
And I get that they want you to be like having to throw precious stuff away, but it just feels like they're punishing you for interacting with it.
But that was Minecraft though as well. A lot of Minecraft's game was, stocking up, if you played it in like survival mode, was stocking up your inventory and you'd have to discard things to make room for other things.
But then I don't feel like it has the same level of stuff because everything you can get in Minecraft has a function. Yeah. Whereas there's stuff I've got in this that I'm almost sure is just there to be sold.
Yes, absolutely. There's loads. All the green symbol ones, isn't it? Things that, a relic from somebody's race. Yeah. And you just
But I was carrying some of that around for ages because I met a race of like weird electronic dudes who all look like Daft Punk robots.
I've met them.
They're cool. And then I started, like later, after I'd left their system, I kept finding these things called fascination beads, and it says they're used to power. They used to.
That sounds so like
Sounds like something
New
in
World
Anne
hippie.
Fascination beads.
Like some fascination beads. It really calms your flow.
But it turns out, like it says in the description, like these power an electronic race, and they're really valuable to them. And I was like, oh, cool. Maybe this will interact with a quest. Like I'll go to them, and they'll need them to be powered up and stuff. It's like, no, never needed them. Just I could have sold all of these things, and you can't stack them. So I had like 4 of them.
That is frustrating that you can't stack. Like is it the carnite sheets? Them. Why can't you stack them? That is so infuriating.
So if you're selling them, do you have to do them one by one?
Yep.
That kind of stuff drives me crazy in games. It's like because you're developing this game. You've played games. You're playing your game. You should know when like a tedious. It's similar to like the most recent one I had was Pokemon Go. Yeah. And they have fixed it, but in the original download, every time you wanted to transfer a Pokemon, it was you had to click on Pokemon, and it was the very last option. Yeah. It's like that's the thing people are doing.
Try
the
to
most.
load that map, you'd be pressing it, and then you just click the map, and you're like, what?
And it's like you should know these things. Like stacking items and things is crazy.
Yeah. There's so like. But it strikes me as in the same way they actually The Witcher had real problems with the same kind of stuff. Like its inventory management was horrible. Like really tedious things were crap about it, whereas the game itself was sort of astounding. I feel very similar about this.
Right, yeah.
And they're already saying we've got more content updates coming out. We're listening to feedback. We're going to change stuff. So I feel yes, maybe people will be done with it in 3 weeks. But then in 2 months, they might have added enough. Because they're talking about adding base building, like being able to build space stations, like actual huge features, that piloting freighters as well.
Wow.
Like, I think that this is going to sit really strong, building off your Minecraft points. Kind of teenagers and kids who are the Minecraft generation, who that's the kind of game that they've been raised on, who have loads of time on their hands. Like this is their absolute perfect game. Like, I think they will sink loads of time into it. And like No Man's Sky is kind of symptomatic of the sort of games and now just starting to be made. Like, I think it was announced in 2013. Minecraft came out in 2011, and since kind of Minecraft set the kind of bar of those kind of games, we've had DayZ, Terraria, like all these kind of open games where, unlike in Ratchet and Clank or kind of Call of Duty, where you've got this really set narrative where you're funneled down this set path, it's this idea of exploration and creating your own narrative, but more so than Mass Effect, because in Mass Effect, when you play a Mass Effect game, you think you have all this kind of player choice, but the weight of game design is still there.
Yeah.
Like
It's all
you can
handcrafted.
see the blood, sweat, and tears of the different kind of tree paths, dialogue paths that like some poor developer has coded in. Whereas in this, you have an entire universe at your disposal, and you've got the blank page syndrome of where the hell do I go? That's utterly terrifying, but also that's really exciting. But then we come down to the technicality and the specifics of it, of why we're talking about the inventory and all the problems that come with it. And those are teething issues that I think will totally be solved, and the game will still be around, and people will still be playing it, and there'll just be updates.
Yeah, I do agree, and I think the more major features they add, the more people will be satisfied with just tooling around with it.
Yeah.
I think half of its problem, like you say, it was announced so long ago that at this point, like when it was announced, survival as a genre was still in its sort of infancy. Like that idea of resource management and having to battle against the elements and like constant different meters going down and having to satisfy all these things. That was all quite new and quite exciting. Like Minecraft was doing it. DayZ, the beta came out and people were going mad for that kind of stuff. At this point, that is like the number one genre on Steam. It's huge in early access. All these kids with all the free time that we don't have, that we were talking about, have all played all survival games forever. The problem No Man's Sky has is that it has to do more than just be that game with an infinite universe or near infinite universe, which is kind of difficult. It's interesting.
I still think the actual core gameplay loop of that game, the idea of being to fly onto a planet, get up, fly off, go into space, fly to another planet with no loading screens, anything like that. It's just such, like, every time it fills me with
There
excitement.
are loading screens. It's just they look really pretty because you're in hyperspace.
Yeah, they're also popping in those textures.
Oh
every
my
now and
God,
again. There's
that
a lot of
pop-in.
popping on there, but it still feels like such a cool experience, and it's such a space sci-fi nerd. My entire life, it still like brings me great joy. And my dad is not into games at all, but he's such a like space fan that I feel like he's gonna love it. So I can't wait to show it to him.
Yeah, and like that's what I think is the complete kind of niche that this game is carving out, in that most space games that we play on consoles and PC, they're kind of built off of Star Wars and Star Trek and that kind of big, Mass Effect. It's all about like federations and big like overarching narratives, and whereas this, No Man's Sky seems to be more riffing off of the dystopian sci-fi movies that we saw in like the 70s and stuff. Or
I
like
think it's dystopian. I think it's really optimistic.
No, in the sense of not dystopian in like but in the sense that space is this big vacuum. It's like 2001 Space Odyssey-esque, where
there's
it's kind of like
definitely
it's focusing on the mysticism of space and the kind of that exploration aspect, but also kind of like the fear of it in a way. Like you can feel really lonely. Like think like Alien, like that idea of you in space. No one can hear you scream. Like you're stranded on this planet by yourself.
Like, that's what what Dan was saying about his first experience. Because you start on like a random planet.
Yeah.
He was saying he started the game and it was like raining acid. And there was these little mushroom people running around, and he had to just hide under a rock for like 5 minutes. And he was like, "This is brilliant."
I can so picture Krupa,
That is
toxic
brilliant.
rain.
I love that, because my
Under a
first
rock.
planet was completely different to that as well. Oh man, every planet is exciting for me to see what's there, and I can't see myself getting bored of it anytime soon. But I can understand how the majority of people, like you said, would dip off after a while.
Yeah.
Have you, just another random thought, have you done like, you get the beacon puzzles where it's like a beacon, you go down and then you have to shoot the door, usually.
Yeah, okay.
And then you go in and then there'll be a machine and then you've got to solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
Is that puzzle the same puzzle every time?
No, I've had a few different puzzles.
I've had the numbers one. Have you seen the number sequence?
I've had several different number sequences.
I've had the same number sequence like 5 times.
Really?
now. And I was like, well, I know the answer straight away.
I had one that was based on how much of the language I'd learned of the people
Right, yeah, I
were
get a
running
few
the
of them,
base,
yeah.
which I really liked.
I love the idea of learning the language as well, learning the words, and then you can try and decipher what they're saying when you know certain words and their phrases.
The weirdest thing is, have any of you played a mobile game called Out There?
No.
It's like a story-based survival version of FTL. It's like
Right.
flying from system to system, trying to get to a final point.
Yeah.
And it is so similar to No Man's Sky in so many ways, except like a lo-fi version.
Yeah.
It's crazy how close they are. It's got learning language in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Trading, inventory management, even down to the problems with inventory management, swapping ships, everything
Blimey.
is basically the same. But it's written by this mad French studio. And the
Sounds
story
amazing.
is completely crazy. Like, there are planets made of caramel and stuff. And there's
Oh
like
my God,
actual,
I want to go
Excuse
there.
my
it's not
language.
like silly stuff. It's like scientifically this makes sense. Like
Right.
all of these elements
Even
combined and
better.
heated up to make a caramel planet. It's incredible. It's well worth playing. And as a supplementary point, they've just released a story-based choose-your-own-adventure game called Out There Chronicles, which is genuinely one of the most fascinating story games I've played for maybe years.
Nice. Check this
So
out.
well, it's like 3 hours. It gets
What was it called?
Mad. Out There Chronicles.
Out
It's
There
just the first
Chronicles.
episode at the moment. It's like £2. So
Is
worth
it
it.
only on iOS? Is it Android as well?
I don't know. I think it's both. But yeah, it's fantastic. Right. I've got a quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah! I love that when Joe was making this just before the podcast, I sit next to him and he was like covering his screen. Don't
Yeah.
look at me!
Don't.
Don't look at this!
Right. So last week, one of the bits of feedback was they miss it when keyword countdown isn't on, and we can't do keyword countdown because
No, that would be
Gav is the
sacrilege.
question
Yeah.
master. Those crazy keywords are pretty hard to
I
wrangle.
do bloody love the jingle.
Yeah, it is good. But they wanted like a quizzy thing every week. So
Yeah.
this is my first attempt at doing this.
Quizzy
Right.
thing.
Drum roll,
That's the
please.
name of it.
Right. Who's been watching Robot Wars?
oh God, no,
God.
not me.
I didn't even think I watched Robot Wars in the original
Holy shit, it's
incarnation.
so
I watched
good.
the
I mean, I've seen
original.
it.
The new series of Robot Wars, I went in going like, it's going to be really crap. It is, but for all the right reasons. It
Okay.
still feels as shit as it always
I
did
thought
on
it was
TV.
going to be like the reboot of Gladiators, like
Oh,
bad.
No, it's so good. It's exactly the same, right down to the fact that everyone is really like nerdy. No one can do an interview. No one wants to be on camera. The robots keep breaking down. It's the most British program of all time.
That's what I was
Like,
going to say, Joe. How far have we come in all these years?
Almost
How far have the
not at all.
robots? Yeah.
Like everything's like a little bit stronger, but all the mechanics still break down constantly.
Nice.
It's
I love
brilliant.
it. I
It's
love
so
it.
much fun.
Do you think in the future we're going to have like the Robot Wars will just be like giant robots like knife fighting each other? Like it'll be like really
Like that
advanced.
crab in the
gross.
video.
Like real steel. Yes,
It's like,
I
oh, did you
absolutely
guys
do.
ever watch Robot Wars? What? It's like
What?
TV show. Oh, I thought you meant the Robot Wars.
The wars are in
the dark
constantly.
sides. Yeah.
Right, connected question. How many of you know what sludge metal is?
A robot?
The genre of music known as sludge
What is
metal.
the theme of
I was
this
going to say
quiz?
music. Yeah.
Sludge metal, sometimes referred to simply as sludge, is an extreme genre of music that melds elements of doom metal and hardcore punk, sometimes southern rock.
Doom
Sludge
metal. That's one.
Sludge metal is typically harsh and abrasive, often featuring shouted or screamed vocals, heavily distorted instruments, and sharply
This
contrasting
sounds like
tempos.
Sounds like
some
metal.
sort
Yeah.
of mineral that you've been mining procedurally generated in No Man's Sky. Sludge metal.
This
Doom metal.
quiz is, can you guess which is a sludge metal band out of this list of Robot Wars robots?
Oh my God.
They have surprisingly similar themes on names.
Okay, so what's
right.
the answers we're doing here? What-
Okay, so you get 3 names.
Okay.
2 of them are Robot Wars
Okay.
characters.
Robot.
Dara O'Brien. 2 of them are Robot Wars robots, and one of them is a real sludge metal band.
Okay, and we working as a
You're-
team or against each other?
Whatever you like, I don't care.
Against.
Against.
You're going down.
Okay.
Okay.
What,
So anyone have a
how
pen?
does this
Very
work?
We
good.
can only have one guess
that's it,
either way,
yeah,
so we have to
exactly.
work together. Let's work together.
All right, work
Yeah.
together.
Okay, fine.
All right.
I'll lower myself to you peasants then. Fine. Yeah.
Question 1.
Okay.
Which one of these is a sludge metal band?
Dun, 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 dun.
Crushtation. Decapitator. Or Iron Monkey.
Decapitator.
I think Decapitator's got to be the robot. A robot.
I missed the other one. I was
Crushtation.
laughing too hard.
Iron Monkey.
Iron Monkey.
No, you wouldn't call your robot Iron Monkey.
You don't know these
Wow,
people.
yeah.
You haven't seen the rest of this list.
Oh, man.
Bear in mind, these are
What was
people
the
that
first
build
one?
robots.
What was the first one again?
Crushtation.
I think that's
I
the
really like
sludge
that.
metal band.
No.
No, I think the second one could be the sludge metal band.
No. Yeah. What was the second one?
Decapitator.
Actually, no, that's
that's
a
a
robot.
robot. That
That's
is
a
good.
robot.
Because that's it's like an action.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think first one. Let's go first.
yeah,
one.
first one.
Crushtation.
Crushtation.
Is a robot. Iron Monkey is a sludge metal band.
Iron Monkey is a sludge band. What are you doing,
Are they
Iron
trying to
Monkey?
riff off of Iron Maiden just because they've got a word that begins with M?
I don't know.
Change
By
it.
the way,
Titanium Maiden. Even better.
Need to
before
know more about Iron
anyone
Monkey.
questions me, this comes from a list of Robot Wars robots on Wikipedia and a list of sludge metal bands on Wikipedia. If anyone
Wikipedia is
says
never
it's
wrong."
not sludge metal, it's crust punk, I don't care. All right.
Tell it to Iron Monkey.
Question 2. Electric Wizard, Bulldog Breed, or Jackson Wallop?
Dude, Electric
Jackson
Wizard
Wallop
is like the
would-
coolest combination of words I've heard.
Jackson
in so
Wallop
long.
has got to be a robot.
Jackson Wallop. I don't think electric. Well, electric. That's what robots are.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that is a robot.
You got to say him again. You got
Electric Wizard,
Okay.
Bulldog Breed, or Jackson Wallop?
Bulldog Breed, right? That's a band.
Yeah,
You have
that's
to
what I was
imagine
thinking.
Craig Charles saying them.
My instincts went to Bulldog.
We are
Bulldog
a
breed.
Bulldog Breed.
Do you agree?
Woof,
I'm
woof,
so
woof.
confused.
Do you agree that Bulldog Breed sounds like the band?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're a band that I'd never go and see their music.
That's not the question.
Yeah, that's not what you're a fan of Bulldog Breed. Name 5 of their first songs. Name it. Who Let the Dogs Out?
We're going for Bulldog Breed as a
going-
sludge
yes.
metal band. Incorrect, it's Electric Wizard.
God damn.
God.
I'm so glad this quiz is working as I thought it would.
Sorry, I need to download some Electric Wizard. I wonder if they're on Amazon Music.
Question 3. Buzz Oven, Body Hammer, or Psycho Sprout?
That's like the most messed up Pokemon ever. Its mother abandoned it in the egg.
What was the second one? Body Hammer.
Body Hammer.
Body Hammer.
That sounds
so
like a
brilliant.
Lynx spray.
I think that's the band.
It does, doesn't it?
Body Hammer.
Actually, no.
Your
I don't
arm
know.
falls off.
Yeah. Do you have Africa? Just Body Hammer.
Yeah.
We can't move it.
Buzz Oven, Body Hammer, Psycho Sprout.
That's a
I
tough
think
one.
Psycho Sprout could be it because it's so off the wall.
Let's face it, they all could be banned at this point. We're just taking a wild stab in the dark.
And they might be riffing off of like Psycho Killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Sprout, 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 sprout.
That's almost certainly what they sound like as well.
I have no idea with this one, so Alicia, you guess.
I'm going to say Psycho Sprout.
Incorrect, it's Buzz Oven.
Oh my god.
None of us were right.
Buzz Oven is a real band.
I'd love it
ridiculous.
if you
Maybe in their
are one of
minds.
these bands that we're talking about. Please write in to the UK podcast with a sample of your music.
I've already loaded up an
Some
Electric
Electric
Wizard
Wizard.
track, so we can have a little listening party right
when
after
we
the
finish.
quiz
I'm
is done.
excited.
Press play right now.
I got to tell you.
You might hear
We're gonna
another
build up
band
to
that you
this.
want to listen to.
They're all friends.
This round is for slightly weaker sounding ones, but there's still a sludge metal band in here.
Okay.
Okay.
You bank the mouse. What? Wait, you bank the mouse.
But is that Eubank like Chris Eubank? Or
Like
is it
spelled
Eubank?
I thought
Chris
you
Eubank.
I was banking a mouse.
Harvey Milk. Or Flirty Skirty.
Flirty Skirty is a robot. It better be a robot.
I think-
I will not listen to Flirty Skirty.
I think Chris Eubank the Mouse is the band.
You think so?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
guessing.
I think that one. Please be that one.
Incorrect, it's Harvey Milk.
No! God damn it!
You bank the mouse.
Did you
is like it's from the first series of Robot Wars, the one presented by Jeremy Clarkson,
Right.
where they were all shit. Right? You Bank the Mouse was just a pyramid on wheels. I don't know what it did. It was just a big pyramid on wheels with a little flag on top.
And he got
So
annihilated
weird.
every time, right?
Well, I guess so. I don't know. I looked it up.
Are you making the third one up?
No,
Did
they're
you-
all-
did you-
they're
okay,
all
so
real.
Flirty Skirty is
Flirty
real.
Skirty was a robot.
That
That's
sounds like it could be a robot. It had
Yeah.
probably like a
Flirty
skirty
Skirty.
board. That
I like how your voice changed on that one as well. Before
my-
you were like Body Hammer, but
Yeah.
for that round.
Well, now we're back.
Flirty Skirty.
Now we're back.
Oh, blimey, there's more.
I've got loads.
Oh my God, how long
This
is
is
this
us
going on
now.
for?
There's 10 questions.
Do you have to be anywhere? 'Cause
You've done 5. Super Joint Ritual, Demolition Demon, Terminal Ferocity.
Oh, God. Demolition Demon.
What was the
they
first
all
one?
sound like bands.
Super Joint Ritual.
Super Joint Ritual is the band.
No, that's a robot with a super joint that can like just wreck things. Like
Oh, that's what
chance
joint. I
in
wonder what sort of
ritual.
joint you were implying to then.
oh,
Hey.
right, yeah.
One track mind down.
Yeah, sorry.
Super Joint Ritual, Demolition Demon, or Terminal Ferocity.
That'll be a real point in scientific achievement when we
Robots
discover
can
how we
smoke
can get a
weed.
robot high. Imagine that. He like doesn't know what he is. He's
I'm just imagining.
Yeah, imagine that. Did you ever think about what it is to be?
Maybe that's why BB-8 has that little thing, like the lighter that comes out.
Oh, nice.
That's a meme. That is a meme.
How is a BB-8 bong with built-in lighter not already a thing? That just
I
makes
I know.
sense.
It's amazing.
How is this not like a James Franco, Seth Rogen movie yet? Like they find a robot and get it high. Like, that's it. That's the concept. Boom. 20 million. Guaranteed.
Stars, baby.
20 million.
20
I
mil.
don't know that's success, mate.
20 million. Yeah, big time. I don't know this one. They all sound like bands to me.
Yeah.
Can I hear one more
Super
time?
Joint Ritual, Demolition Demon, Terminal Ferocity.
Super Joint
Okay,
Ritual.
Terminal Ferocity.
That sounds like a band I've actually heard
Terminal
of.
Ferocity.
Incorrect, it was Super Joint Ritual.
I was right.
Listen to
You weren't
me.
right, you said Terminal Ferocity.
No, that's how I got onto the high robots. That's good.
This one's good. Vector of Armageddon, Shadow of Napalm, or Corrosion of Conformity.
Corrosion of conformity. They are 16. They are 16 years old.
All of these sound like things a kid with dyed black hair writes on the
Yeah.
back of a
Yeah.
notebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
An emo kid, non-conforming as can be.
Vector of Armageddon, Shadow of Napalm, Corrosion of
Well,
Conformity.
it's definitely C. You wouldn't call your robot corrosion of conformity.
I would have no.
Corrosion, metal.
Mom, I'm listening to Conformity.
Or napalm, Shadow of Napalm. I don't think it would be a flamethrowing robot, would it?
You're not allowed flamethrowers.
Doom. I've
Yeah,
got it. We've got
Napalm
it. It's
on.
B.
It's Corrosion of Conformity.
I'm terrible at this. I'm out. You guys, you have this. You have this.
think we
Or
haven't
Alicia,
got a
actually.
You haven't got a
one.
single one right.
I just Alicia because I've been wrong every single
Sludge
time.
is so
bleak.
powerful.
I'm trying to put too much logic in this.
Miko Dinosh, Attila the Drum, or Brutus Maximus.
The first one's a band.
Miko Dinosh,
This is not you
Attila
guys.
the Drum,
I'm
or
not.
Brutus Maximus.
Brutus Maximus is definitely a robot. I don't even know what the first one's referencing.
Miko Dinosh.
That's just consonants and vowels
That's
strung
a-
together.
that's the
That's a
band.
procedurally
That's the band.
generated name.
That sounds too fancy though for it. I'm
That's
getting
the
no
band.
because it'll.
You're thinking about it too much. That's the band.
Okay, B is the band.
What?
B.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
he,
said
no,
A.
no, he said it. It's
Attila
A.
the
That's
Drum.
A. That's A. That's
A.
A.
Oh, A.
You're correct, it is Miko Dinosh.
Yay!
The
I
Lord.
was so happy when you nearly went for Attila the Drum.
We can't lose
no.
everyone.
I've accidentally included one of the existing robots on here, so this is just a two-part. You can get another point easily.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Is it Crowbar or the Parthian Shot?
Oh.
What does any of this mean?
I don't know.
The Parthian Shot.
Oh God. Crowbar.
No, crowbar's got to be a robot, right?
Well, you'd think.
With a
but
crowbar.
Maybe that's the trick. Maybe it's the other one.
Yeah, but Parthian shot. It's not.
That's nothing.
It doesn't fit onto a tiny iPod screen. Like when they're trying to listen to your music.
There's longer band names than that.
Yeah.
That's true. Panic at the Disco.
That's the first one you think of.
They have the longest. No, actually,
They don't.
No, they don't. It's Fall Out Boy who has the most ridiculously long names.
Well, I was like, that's 3
Fall Out
words.
Boys?
But I think you
No,
mean,
no,
you mean
no,
song
that's
names,
song
right?
names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're losing track. We're losing
Crowbar
track.
Yeah.
or the Parthian Shot?
Crowbar.
Correct, that is the
Yes.
What?
That's two.
That's what I said. Crowbar as well.
But I said it louder.
band. Two more.
I'm just giving your mascot. I'll just be your mascot.
Killy Cranky. Malfunction, but funk is like...
Yeah, okay. Malfunction.
Funk
Brilliant.
is in bow, 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 bow.
That one.
Or Noothgrush,
I don't know what. That sounds like a pun on toothbrush, is it?
I guess. Why the fuck do you think I know?
I don't know.
Killy
Well,
Cranky, Malfunction,
Something. It's a something on toothbrush.
or Noothgrush.
I know Killy Cranky was almost definitely a robot. I kind of recognise that. I'm sure I recognise that from the original series. So
Well, I thought that I had listened to Terminal Velocity, and that was wrong. So.
Terminal Ferocity,
Sorry,
please.
ferocity. That's why I got it wrong.
Velocity would be
The last
terrible
one.
name.
Toothbrush.
Noothgrush,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, 3 for 3 in the last 3.
Now we've
Because I
got
stopped answering.
We've got some of my favourite names for the final one. Chronic the Wedgehog,
See where the inspiration came from?
High on Fire, or Hardvark.
Hardback.
Hardbark is definitely a robot.
That is a great name for a robot as well.
Or like a porn star.
Chronic, the Wedgehog.
The hardback.
Just imagine that penis.
Oh, you should have done. Are these robots or porn stars?
I nearly did, but it wasn't close enough. So sludge metal it was. Chronic the Wedgehog, High on Fire, or Hardvark.
High on Fire, the band.
I agree. High on Fire.
That's probably not
think so?
actually. No, it's probably not.
High on Fire.
It is High on Fire.
Oh,
Yeah!
You really picked it up.
yeah, we got the last four. Boom.
I really ran out of sludge metal bands, so High on Fire had to go in, but I just wanted to get Chronic the Wedgehog and Hardvark in there.
Nice.
So there you go, that's robots or sludge metal.
Did you keep track of points? Do we?
I think you got 4.
Validate us. Validate us.
I mean, still not good enough, not passing grade. Oh yeah, let's listen to Electric Wizard.
There's only a couple ways you can get out.
This is just them talking.
One is death.
No.
The other is mental institutions.
What is that?
Oh, it's quite sludgy.
Yeah, I
get it.
it feels like you're trudging underwater. You're like, ooh, it's a sludge.
Hold it into the center.
Can't tell if that's a man.
Oh god, that's blowing your speakers out.
Yeah. Maybe let's just skip a bit.
Their studio engineer needs to be
sounds
sacked. He cannot mix.
I do want to point out though.
What's that song called?
The name of this album is called Dope Throne, and the artwork looks like the devil smoking a bong.
Yeah, they really seem to be into like low-grade drugs in sludge metal. There was one that I didn't include. There was a band called Weed Eater.
Oh,
Who eats the weed? Come on. Yeah. So that's sludge metal.
Imagine if you're in
robots.
that band and you just randomly start a podcast, and then one day you just hear
Guys,
this.
they're talking about us. They're talking about this. Look at these little wizards.
And they're not saying.
Look at these little wizards.
Yeah, they're not saying great things.
Corrosion of
about us.
conformity.
Trash wizards.
Just crying into their soft pillows. Feedback number 1.
Oh,
Rory.
that's me. This is from Tyler Downey. Hi, Tyler. His email, in cheery fashion, has the subject line, "Does hype ruin everything?" Hey guys, there are a few things that are coming out or came out this month that I fear being ruined by hype. You guys talked about Suicide Squad last week, and No Man's Sky comes out this week. These are both things that have been super hyped, and one fell flat and the other could as well. Can you think of something that was ruined by hype / lived up to the hype in this month's or years of hype, or is months of years?
Words.
1 minute.
We get the gist. We get the gist.
Or is this months or years of hype hurting media rather than helping? That was like a tongue twister at the end. Hype hunting media helping. Thank you, Tyler. Also, he'd like to play Overwatch with us sometime.
Oh, cool.
Because we seem like fun to play with. We've been trying to organize
Yeah,
that
we have
for
been trying to organise that,
Yeah.
and it's not been
do
going
need to do that.
well.
Pull your thumb out, Dale.
Because
Jeez.
Alicia's social life is just
Exactly. Somebody's
Oh my
always
God.
got someone on every night, but
Yeah.
we will find time after Gamescom.
I'm just like, guys, sorry, I'm listening to Dope Throne again.
Electric
Stop
Wizards are in
listening.
town at the Electric Ballroom, so I gotta go to that.
That's a really good question.
Well, we kind of already talked about it a little. We talked about it with Suicide Squad. We've already talked about it with No Man's Sky.
Was there hype for Suicide
Exactly
Squad?
my
yeah,
fault
there was.
as
I
well.
No, there
think
totally
there
was.
was
There was.
massive hype for Suicide Squad.
As much as there is for any superhero film that comes out during the
Yeah.
summer, I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was particularly special hype for Suicide Squad. It just felt like another AAA film. Going
Tell you what lived up to hype. Star Wars Episode 7.
It did.
That's like
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
40 years of hype.
And that's a great
that's a good
testimony
shout.
to it, because I feel like a lot of people, it's in the same boat as when like a bad sequel comes out and people go, that just ruined the trilogy. And it's like, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. It's like you can have too many trailers. That's not going to affect what the movie's like. It's not going to affect like how good of a movie it is. And I think it's the exact same boat. Like Suicide Squad was very overexposed when it came to trailers and previews, but if that had been a really good movie, it still would have been a really good movie.
That's
like
true.
it wouldn't have ruined
Yeah.
an
I
experience.
think because of our industry and because of the part of, well, not our industry, sorry, partly because of our industry, because of the film industry, and particularly the film industry that our kind of collective interest is, superheroes and this media machine it's become really easy to forget that trailers aren't made by filmmakers.
Yeah,
Because they're such a part of the film now. Like, building up to a film is as much a thing as the film
course, yeah.
is. Like, it's a business. You can forget that, like, it's not their decision to release those things in those orders with that music. Like, so you just kind of go, it's really easy to come in and go, I've seen all these trailers, I've seen everything in this movie, and it's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's someone else's fault.
I guess ultimately as well, like you don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Like you can be like oblivious to what's going on
Absolutely.
beforehand. I mean, it obviously can be difficult with like social media these days, but you can still just, if you want to be totally surprised going in, you don't have to watch a
It's
trailer.
very easy to not press play on those videos.
Yeah.
I would
Have to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing I find really interesting, particularly with No Man's Sky, is the hype for that game is entirely user-generated because they revealed so little of that game.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we knew almost nothing about it until about 3 or 4 weeks before the game came out. The hype that it created is not like any of these other films. It's not being missold. It just wasn't sold. So everyone went, it's this thing that I believe! And
Yes, it became
wasn't.
a massive conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and it wasn't, and that's become a problem. And that is as much an issue of the selling of it as anything else.
But then
it's
Sony
crazy.
did kind of put a bit of muscle behind it. Like it was a game made by the people who made Joe Danger, and they put it on the biggest platform and the biggest stage to make it seem like it was going to be a big deal. And I believe it is a big deal, but they definitely from day one were saying like, this is not just another little indie game from Hello Games. This is a big deal.
Incidentally, a really cool thing that I've heard that I didn't know about, it was in History of the Games Development on Games Radar.
Yeah.
By a guy called Sam White, who is a friend. Disclaimer, but I like it anyway.
Gamergate.
Yeah,
Gamergate, shut it down.
He brought up this point that I'd never heard before, which is apparently Sony offered to put a lot more money into the development of the game.
Yeah.
But apparently Sean Murray turned it down for
Why?
that spot at E3. Like, he said, if you put us on the stage, that's what I want out of our partnership. And to be fair, that's what made the entire
Yeah,
totally worked.
so it
like,
is.
what an incredible thing. Like,
Yeah.
what amazing. If that isn't like some sort of weird rumor that's spun out of control, that's brilliant. Even as
Could
an
you
urban
not
myth,
have
it's
asked
great.
for both?
Yeah, what did jabroni?
done.
Take the money.
Yeah, take the money and demand the spot.
You could fly to space, Sean. Think it through.
It reminds me of George Lucas with Star Wars, didn't he? Like, originally just wanted the rights to the sequel and to the toys.
Yes.
And then the Fox, instead of more money, and Fox were happy, 20th Century Fox were happy to hand that over to him. Because at that point, it wasn't like history set for selling toys off the back of films.
Yeah, toys wasn't like a thing in the same way it is now.
An equally
They
shrewd
just had
move.
like hoops and sticks, and you
And
just
Those
bought
were
them
toys.
along and-
No,
No.
you bought a
Cup balls.
house.
Bits of string and conkers.
You saved up for a house from
all it was.
childbirth.
and went to war.
And went to
That's all you did.
You want to play games? Here's the biggest game of all, the game of life and death.
This is you in the Robot Wars. You, an
I'd be a
electric
much
wizard
more-
on the front line.
I'd be a much more intense
I
presenter.
never
together.
want to play Call of Duty with you.
I just lose it.
Cool.
Flashbacks.
More feedback.
You know, there was a
Or
couple.
not.
No, no feedback.
Rory's not done.
I know. I just before we move on, I want to make a point. There was like one podcast. It was like a couple weeks ago where I was finishing my piece of feedback and I threw it behind me and it perfectly went round.
That was months ago, Rory.
Was it?
Yeah.
That was like my first podcast when I joined.
And I've been trying to do it again every time, and
It will never happen again.
It'll never like.
Give it a
Never
go.
have that moment. No.
That was your point, by the
That
way.
just
I thought you were
fucking-
going to make a
Yeah,
point about the content of the email.
And another thing. Nah, just
You
trying to
hyped yourself up with that gif. Hype
did.
ruined paper tossing.
There you go.
Right.
What was the point?
Can I go on now?
You have my permission.
Yeah.
Yes.
One quick
Feedback.
question.
Oh, God.
Yeah, one quick question though.
This is from Finn. Hi all, I'm a massive fan of Prepare to Try, and I was wondering what the behind the scenes are like, e.g. how far in advance do you shoot, how long does it take you to edit, etc. P.S. On the off chance that Alicia is on the podcast, spelled your name wrong by the way, I was wondering what she studied at York Uni, as my dad teaches there.
Oh, no way!
So let's answer that one first.
Cool, yeah, that's probably the easy one to answer. So I studied English Lit. And
Hey.
I
Cool.
graduated in 2013. So if he was teaching any time between 2010 and 2013 in that department, let me know.
What's this
Yeah.
person's last name?
O'Rourke.
Remember a Professor O'Rourke?
O'Rourke, no, but he sounds like a wizard teaching at Hogwarts. Professor
wizard.
O'Rourke.
So I suppose Rory's the man to answer all the
Yeah,
Prepare to Try
Rory.
questions.
Yeah. Just the fact that today is like super stressful with Prepare to Try, like is a testimony to the workings of the show. Originally, we kind of started off with a bumper, so like that was the plan going into the second season, because obviously the last one was beat Dark Souls 1 before Dark Souls 3,
Yeah.
and that very much came down to the wire. It was
Oh,
us,
yes.
like staying late after work and just grinding for hours and really like putting an episode up every day. So moving into season 3, we're like, okay, we have the time.
Season 3?
Or Dark Souls 3. We're like, let's do a
Announcement.
little bumper. So we did. We had a bumper for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then stuff happens. Games are released. Movies come out. And the bumper was diminished until the point we're at now, which is no bumper. I'm doing today's episode today.
Really?
Yeah.
God,
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. But I think that's what people want to hear, is that like, because people in the comments, they feel like they're watching it and like playing through with us. But then as soon as something comes out where it's like, oh, that was filmed like a month ago.
Yeah.
So like even when we had the bumper, I'd get tweets about an episode, and I'd be like, I don't even know what they're talking about, because I haven't like watched this or like played this in so long. And the other problem was when we were doing the series. So the first at least like 6 episodes, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at the game, worse than I've been at Dark Souls at any other point in the series. And it was because we had these huge bumpers. It meant that when it came to filming again, it would be like learning the game over again.
Yeah.
So I'd sit down and be like, I have to
Controls.
relearn the controls. I'm like, I don't know where we're going. But granted, that was only for the start of the season. So we're back in the flow now. That's pretty much it. There's not much behind the scenes.
So basically what you're saying is that the best situation for you is having a bumper, but actually for everyone else listening at home,
yes.
the horrible pain and torment you're going through right now will create a better experience.
It's worth it.
And it's love that's powering you through.
When I see those little comments underneath saying, why is Justin Bieber playing Dark Souls? It just warms my heart and makes it all worth it. How
All
can
of it.
anyone be this shit at life? Just these comments just really warms my heart.
Lovely, aren't they?
Makes me feel great.
Behind the scenes, how much do you cry when you get bad comments?
Just constantly. We have to CGI out like our eyes.
That's what the hangover's from. It's not alcohol. You're just dehydrated by crying.
But like full disclosure, we absolutely love it. We want to keep it going for as long as we can. It's like the highlights of it's the highlight of my week. Like I absolutely love doing it and editing
Rude.
it. And this is a burden, honestly. I'm kidding. No. So hopefully that answers all your questions, and hopefully you continue watching as we carry through and beat whoever it is that we need to be beating in Dark Souls 3.
Powers can power. Powers can power.
Alex Parnell says, hi, comma. I am a new listener, having found your podcast by accident.
Oh, hey.
How'd you do that?
Hey, Alex.
How do you find a podcast by accident?
Welcome.
I don't care. And I'm really enjoying it. I have to resist my usual temptation to go back and start from the beginning, given the nature of your shows and the industry. However, the Retro Oneer conversation, which is when we discuss people going back to the start to listen to all of it, which is a term, like many things that we've stolen from the Ellis James and John Robbins podcast, prompted a question. This is the Retro Oneer conversation. I've lost my track. I seem to game in fits and starts. To elaborate, my list of completed games starting recent first is GTA 5, Assassin's Creed 2, Final Fantasy 10, and the Sonic games on Mega Drive. That's
a big
very
gap.
long time period.
Yeah.
My question is, of the series below, how much will it affect the experience and my understanding by not playing the earlier games? The series I'm interested in
That's a great question, Alex.
Here's a list. Series I'm interested in. Should we just go through them one by one?
Yeah.
Far Cry.
Absolutely, you can dive into Far Cry 3.
Don't play Primal. Play
No.
Far Cry 4.
I like Primal.
Oh, no,
but
play 3. 3 is
yeah.
Well, 3 and 4 are both
Start
great.
with 3, and then you'll naturally want to go on to 4.
Yeah.
And 4 is just
That's
as good.
interesting.
Yeah.
The villain in 3, I think, is my favorite video game villain of all time.
I think
He's
that's
just
strong.
incredible.
Don't
Yeah.
bother with 2. I did not get on with
I
2.
really, really like 2.
Oh,
a
really?
lot. Yeah.
But do you think it's as easy to get into as 3?
No, so 2 is 2's functionally a different game. The
Yeah.
weird thing, the Far Cry series is strange.
Malaria.
Part of the reason that you can start with Far Cry is because until 3, it was 3 different games.
Yeah.
Far Cry 1, 2, and 3 were completely separate
Yeah.
things. 2 is essentially like a proto-survival game where you're struggling to not die of malaria the
Yeah.
entire time. It's great.
The stories don't link in any of these games, so
Yeah.
you can pick
You
up
can just-
any of them. Any
I
that
did.
takes your
I
fancy.
dived in at 3
Yeah.
and was absolutely
Yeah.
fine.
Dead Space.
Oh, Dead Space. I just think in general is not a fantastic example.
Well,
of
Dead Space.
horror.
I think Dead
love
Space 1.
Dead Space.
Really?
I think Dead Space 1 is the best
Yes.
of them. And
Dead Space 1
You're right.
is the best.
And 2 is really good as well. 3 was such a boring experience for
But
me.
You can dive in. So I dived in on Dead Space 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they establish what happened on Dead Space 1
They do
really
do a
well
recap
in
at
the
the
intro,
start,
like, and
yeah.
the recap does really, really well, and it's part of the story. And so I didn't feel like I'd missed out on anything story-wise. To be honest, I'm not sure massively how much of a story that is. A lot of
There
it
is a story.
One's
yeah.
got a good story.
Yeah, absolutely go to 1. Like, play 1 and then you'll know if you want to play 2.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah.
play 3.
Yeah.
There's a good Wii light gun game called Dead Space Extraction as
I
well.
know, I've played that too.
It's good fun.
That was good.
Mass Effect.
definitely go through from the beginning.
No, I disagree.
Really?
Because I never played Mass Effect 1 because I didn't have an Xbox at the time, and I went into 2. And if you get 2 on the PS3, or I suppose it might be on the PS4 at some point, I think there's a code version of it. Anyway, there's like a comic book thing at the start where you get to make all the choices that you made in the first one. It's not in comic book form.
That's clever.
It's the major choices. The
Yeah.
thing is, I played as a single shepherd from 1 to 3.
Right.
And I get that the comics thing works,
Yeah.
but it does not give you the experience. Like, there are little references
Yeah,
that happen from
exactly.
the first game through
And
to the
then
last
you make
game.
a
and-
decision between 2 characters dying, and obviously when it comes to the second one, I didn't have any sort of
attachment.
weight of that
Emotional
decision.
resonance.
But isn't 1 like really unplayable?
It's worth pointing out, 1 is quite a bad game nowadays. It was quite a bad game at the time, but if you whack it down to the easiest setting, like combat is a doddle, and then you just run through that story, which is fantastic. Like, it's such a great story. Back when they didn't know what that series was going to be, there's a smaller scale sense to it. It's a bit more of like a band of people. You're learning about the universe. I think it's well worth playing.
But he's asking the question, like, what can he dive into in a franchise? And I think if you dive into Mass Effect 2, you can totally do that if you do it the way I did it.
Yes.
3, not so much. Like,
3's there's so much to deal with, especially because 2 and 3 are so linked as a story. So don't dive into that one as much. Assassin's Creed, just go in wherever. Who cares?
Yeah, don't worry about
The
the modern day
overarching story
storyline.
sucks.
And all the
It's always the downside, isn't it? When you go back to like the thing is like, just
then-
make me an assassin. Just make me play as an assassin.
No
I
one
don't
wants
need-
to play as the guy in Montreal struggling against the monolithic games company that
you
is
hear
weirdly a reference
It's
to
like
Ubisoft.
last thing I read as well about the movie that's coming out.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like the majority of it is going to be.
It's like 60% modern day.
What do you think?
But did you not think?
That's terrible.
Did you not think that was interesting at the beginning in Assassin's Creed 1 and 2?
As a concept, but not.
Yeah, so that's
but
what
then
they're taking, and then
It very clearly became clear that was shit.
absolutely in the games world, but not maybe in the film world.
Yeah.
So who knows?
And they
who knows?
worked better in the first and second because you were establishing it. You'd never heard of Abstergo, and you were kind of there was more of a fascination in the first couple of games. And then once it got like later on, you just were like, okay, we get what
It's when it got
Abstergo is.
to
This is not as cool.
the end of Brotherhood and Revelations, where
Yeah.
it just started
It went
going
downhill.
mental.
Yeah. But I think you can play Syndicate just no problem.
Yeah,
It does
would-
not matter.
I would dive into Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. That's
Black Flag's a very different kind of game.
but I love that game so much.
Yeah,
And that
it's
was one like Assassin's Creed 3. I quite enjoyed 3, but it soured a lot of people. And I think 4 is a great, like almost like a fresh start.
That's true.
And it's a good place to
I
come
also
in.
really enjoy Syndicate just because you
Syndicate
can,
was
like,
good as well, yeah.
climb up. I was walking past the Houses of Parliament the other day, and I was like to my friend, "I climbed that the other day,"
Yeah.
pointing
Weird,
at Big
isn't
Ben,
it?
and she was like, "You what?"
Yeah, that's weird.
like in CGI.
Was that you at Trump Towers? Alicia, she's like, woo.
Dangling, just clinging to the side, desperately.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, but to answer his question, I feel like you can dive into any of
Yeah,
them.
you
really.
can.
Don't worry about the modern day storyline, just because every period part is self-contained anyway. Most of them are.
Yeah.
So I would say dive into like Black Flag, Syndicate, probably skip 5. That's about it, I think. Yeah.
We've discussed this one recently. Uncharted.
Uncharted. So Uncharted 4 came out, and you guys were all playing it, and I'd never played any of the Uncharted games before, and I had a really long chat with you, Dale, about whether I should just play Uncharted 4 and like dive straight into the series, or whether I should go back. And I ended up going back to the very beginning and playing them chronologically. And
And the collection does a really good job of making it not seem annoying.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
seem annoying. And honestly, I did like the 3 games so quickly, like one after the other, immediately as soon as I finished one, loaded up the next. Really, really enjoyed it. Like really, really did. And I so recommend them playing them chronologically because there is actually an overarching narrative arc, and especially if you're going to play Uncharted 4, where there's amazing scenes that really like have almost like little Easter eggs and throwbacks and kind of like to the previous games. It makes Uncharted 4 so much richer. Richer than if you just dived straight into it.
As a counterpoint, I've only played Uncharted 4. It was fucking great.
Oh,
I don't,
no, it's
I
still
don't regret it
brilliant.
at all. Like,
Still
Uncharted 4 is a great game.
It is what I will say is, like, if the question is how will it affect my experience and understanding, it will make it richer, but you won't not understand.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
you can
story.
totally go into Uncharted 4 and
It's not like any of them are particularly deep characters. As soon as you meet Nathan Drake, you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah, he's that guy.
But there is especially
is-
from 2 onwards, there is a bond you build with these characters
Of course,
and their
yeah.
relationships together, and getting to see that to the end in Uncharted 4 is a fantastic experience.
And, you
and I
know,
wouldn't change it.
this is Naughty Dog. These are the guys who created Last of Us. Like they create really amazing characters that have like these incredible. Now, I think
They're fun.
Jack and Daxter.
Uncharted is they're good characters. They're good characters. They're not amazingly well
No.
written.
And I'd say that Uncharted 4 isn't like on the scale of like Last of Us, it's bye.
Ignore me.
Dale's just throwing my paper all over the desk. Yeah, like on the scale of that, then no, it's not up to Last of Us standards, but they are still really well done characters. There's an amazing twist in the third game that I was WhatsApping constantly about as I was playing, because I thought I knew what they were doing.
She didn't have it.
I was so gloating to Dale, and then I ate my own words.
Yeah.
So it's a really good story, and it's well worth playing the 4.
Yeah, BioShock, play all of them. I'm just answering that one. Don't jump in at the end.
Just jump in at one. Definitely jump in at one.
Yeah, Infinite's separate, but it doesn't have anywhere near the like.
It isn't separate, so I don't want. It's hard to say without spoiling anything. So just go into BioShock 1. Absolutely play BioShock.
I remember the first time going into Rapture, like in the first game, like going down in the lift, and just I hadn't seen anything like it in a video game before.
Absolutely
There's just
amazing.
so much like character and detail and history and story just from like rooms you go in, like you're just flooded with just like all this information. And cool,
and
it's so great.
They're also releasing the collection soon.
Exactly,
as well. So perfect chance to go dive in.
I'm really excited for that.
And Elder Scrolls, just play the last one. Play Skyrim. You
Skyrim,
don't need to have played all of them.
I've never played any before Skyrim, and I didn't.
Morrowind's brilliant, but it's
anything.
aged crazy, and like you don't. That world's distinct.
Oblivion, I loved Oblivion as well.
Oblivion's great.
But again, independently you can play any of them.
Yeah.
And which of those would you recommend I go with, given the limited amount of time I have to game?
Oh god, that's a tough choice.
Far Cry, Dead Space, Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, BioShock, Elder Scrolls. So we're saying we're jumping in on one game.
Okay.
I feel like the first BioShock is a game that everyone should play.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say Far Cry 3
I was going to say Far Cry 4.
because it's fun. There's a lot of exploration, but mechanics that aren't too unfamiliar.
I think they're
and a
all
great
games
story.
that you should be playing, by the way. If
Yeah.
you could get the
It's a
chance.
really
But if
good
you have
list.
It's a strong
the
list.
first one to
Yeah.
choose is such a tough one. Like I think of Uncharted 2, Uncharted 4, Mass Effect 2, Dead Space, first BioShock. They're all games that are like essential.
Yeah, it's a great selection.
I'd
This
say
guy's got good taste.
Uncharted 4, just because even though everything that I said about playing it chronologically, I do think is a kind of a piece of modern game design showing
was gonna
what the
say-
PlayStation 4 can do and is capable of. The amazing graphics, the facial technology, plus a great story and like massive cinematic kind of like scapes. Go and play
If you're not going to
Uncharted
play
4.
another game for like 3 years,
Yeah.
actually Uncharted 4 is an amazing, like, here's what gaming is right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your PlayStation will sound like it's taking off
Yeah,
with
it's
all the
nuts.
work that it does.
And also you can beat it reasonably quickly. A lot
Yeah.
of these games would take like a very long
Yeah.
time.
Thanks, Alex. That was a really interesting
really
question.
good question.
Thank you.
I'm going to try flipping this. And that was the IGN UK podcast. Oh yeah, you can email us with your feedback, IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com.
Nice.
It's the worst email address in the world.
Oh, it's got charm to it.
It's got a rustic, shitty charm. That's it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Get out.